On 26th of May, 2026, a company most Americans have never heard of crossed $1 trillion in value. Not Apple, not Microsoft, not Amazon. A chip company from Boise, Idaho. Its stock jumped 19% in a single day, adding $160 billion in value between the opening and closing bell. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire market value of FedEx, added in one day. The company is called Micron Technology. And the reason it just crossed $1 trillion tells you everything you need to know about where the world is going. Because buried inside every AI model, every ChatGPT response, every self-driving car decision, is a tiny piece of hardware that nobody talks about. It's called high bandwidth memory. And right now, the entire world can't get enough of it. Micron makes it. This is the full story. To understand why Micron just hit $1 trillion, you need to understand what memory chips actually do. When you use ChatGPT, here's what happens behind the scenes. Your question travels to a data center. Inside that data center is a server. Inside that server is an NVIDIA GPU, a processor that does the actual AI thinking. But the GPU can't think on its own. It needs data. Constantly. Enormous amounts of data, moving at extraordinary speed. That's what memory does. It sits right next to the GPU and feeds it the information it needs, as fast as possible. Standard memory isn't fast enough for AI. The volumes are too large, the speeds required are too high. So the industry created a new type of memory specifically for AI workloads. It's called high bandwidth memory, HBM. HBM chips are stacked on top of each other in 3 dimensions, connected by thousands of tiny wires, and placed directly next to the GPU on the same chip package. The result is memory that moves data 10 times faster than standard memory. Without HBM, modern AI doesn't work. And here's the critical detail. Only 3 companies in the world can make HBM at scale. Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron. That's it. 3 companies. For a technology that every AI company on Earth desperately needs. That is why Micron just crossed $1 trillion. Now let's talk about what actually happened on 26th of May, because the numbers are extraordinary. Micron stock opened Tuesday morning at around $750. By the close of trading, it was at $891. A 19% jump. In one day. The trigger was a single analyst note from UBS, one of the world's largest investment banks. UBS raised its price target on Micron from $535 to $1,625. That's not a modest upgrade. That's UBS saying Micron stock could more than double from where it already was. The reasoning was blunt. AI is permanently changing the economics of the memory chip business. Micron's entire HBM production for 2026 is already sold out. Every chip they can make has already been bought under long-term contracts. UBS estimates Micron could generate more than $400 billion in free cash flow between 2027 and 2029. And here's the line from the UBS note that really got Wall Street's attention. They said there is no reason Micron should trade much differently from NVIDIA on a price-to-earnings basis. NVIDIA, the most valuable chip company in history, trades at a premium multiple because of its dominance in AI. UBS is saying Micron deserves the same treatment. The market agreed. Immediately. Micron stock has now risen more than 700% in the past 12 months. It has more than doubled just in 2026 alone. And it's only May. Here's what makes Micron's story so compelling. Because 3 years ago, this company was almost dead. Micron was founded in 1978 in a dentist's office in Boise, Idaho. For most of its history, it made standard DRAM memory, the kind in your laptop and phone. And the memory chip business is brutal. It's cyclical. When demand is high, prices are high and everyone makes money. When demand drops, and it always drops eventually, prices collapse and companies lose billions. In 2023, Micron was in the middle of one of the worst memory downturns in decades. Revenue dropped 49% in a single year. The company lost $5.8 billion. It laid off thousands of workers. Analysts were writing obituaries. Then two things happened simultaneously. First, AI exploded. The launch of ChatGPT in late 2022 kicked off the biggest technology build-out in history. Every major tech company started building AI data centers at emergency speed. Each of those data centers needed HBM. Enormous quantities of HBM. Second, Micron had quietly been investing in HBM technology for years, even during the downturn. While competitors focused on cutting costs, Micron kept spending on next-generation memory research. When the AI wave hit, Micron was ready. Its revenue went from $15 billion in fiscal 2023 to over $38 billion in fiscal 2025. Its stock went from $50 at its lowest point to $891 yesterday. From near bankruptcy to $1 trillion. In less than 3 years. Here's why the Micron story matters even if you've never bought a single stock in your life. The global shortage of HBM memory is slowing down AI development for every company on Earth. NVIDIA makes the GPUs. But without enough HBM to put next to those GPUs, the GPUs sit in warehouses waiting. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, they are all spending tens of billions building AI data centers. But they can only build as fast as they can get memory. Right now, they can't get enough. Micron says its HBM supply is completely sold out through the end of 2026. SK Hynix, the Korean company that currently leads in HBM, is also sold out. Samsung is trying to catch up but has had quality issues with its latest HBM chips. This supply constraint is one of the main reasons AI development is moving slower than the headlines suggest. The models exist. The GPUs exist. The data centers are being built. But the memory, the tiny chips that make it all work, there aren't enough of them. The global HBM market was worth $35 billion in 2025. It's projected to reach $100 billion by 2028. Micron, Samsung, and SK Hynix are racing to build the capacity to meet that demand. Whoever wins that race will be one of the most valuable companies in the world. Right now, Micron just crossed $1 trillion. The race has only just begun. Now let's address the question everyone watching this is actually thinking. Should I buy Micron stock? Let me give you the honest answer. Both sides. The bull case is genuinely powerful. Micron has a monopoly-like position in a technology that the entire AI industry depends on. Its HBM supply is sold out for the rest of 2026 under long-term contracts with fixed pricing. That means revenue visibility that most companies dream of. UBS projects $400 billion in free cash flow over the next 3 years. Even if that's half right, the stock looks cheap. And AI infrastructure build-out is still in very early stages. We are in inning 2 of a 9-inning game. The bear case is also real. Memory chips are cyclical. They always have been. When AI spending eventually slows, and it will slow at some point, memory prices will drop hard. Micron stock has already risen 700% in 12 months. A lot of good news is already priced in. At a $1 trillion valuation, even slightly disappointing earnings could trigger a 30 or 40% correction. And Samsung, with far more resources, is actively trying to recapture market share in HBM. If Samsung fixes its quality issues, the competitive landscape changes fast. My honest take, if you believe AI infrastructure spending will continue growing for the next 3 to 5 years, Micron is one of the most direct ways to invest in that thesis. If you're looking for a safe, stable investment, this is not it. The upside is extraordinary. So is the volatility. There's a geopolitical dimension to this story that almost nobody is covering. The United States has spent the last 4 years trying to build domestic semiconductor manufacturing, precisely because of the AI race. The CHIPS Act invested $52 billion in American chip manufacturing. Micron received $6.1 billion in CHIPS Act funding and committed to investing $125 billion in U.S. manufacturing over the next decade. It's building a massive new facility in Syracuse, New York. one of the largest semiconductor manufacturing investments in American history. The reason this matters is China. China is also trying to build HBM capability. But it's years behind, partly because the US has blocked the export of the most advanced chip manufacturing equipment to Chinese companies. If Micron and its Korean competitors can scale HBM production fast enough, China will be dependent on US allied companies for one of the most critical technologies of the AI era. That's not just a business story. That's a national security story. The chip that powers AI, and the company that just crossed $1 trillion making it, is sitting at the center of the most important technological competition in human history. Yesterday, Wall Street noticed. The question is whether the rest of the world is paying attention. A company most Americans have never heard of just crossed $1 trillion. Its stock is up 700% in a year. Its chips are sold out through the end of 2026. And every AI model you use, every ChatGPT response, every Google AI answer, every autonomous vehicle decision, runs on memory that companies like Micron make. The AI race isn't just about software. It isn't just about GPUs. It's about the hardware nobody talks about. And yesterday, that hardware became worth $1 trillion. Subscribe to BlitzBiz for more stories about the companies and technologies shaping your world. New video every week.